Welcome back, everyone, to another Emerge Conflict, your weekly developer podcast, right here on your favorite podcast application or on YouTube. No matter where you're listening or watching, we got a whole bunch of developer goodness in the dry of summer. And you know it's dry because there's wildfires everywhere, Frank Krueger. Woo!
Well, I actually got to wake up to some nice fog in the morning. Liquid fog, not the ashy kind of fog. The liquid kind, the good kind. It was a little bit of a relief because you know what? I can handle nice weather for 3 or 4 days, but then it better get a little cloudy just to make me happy.
There you go. That way you know you're in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, I don't want to forget.
There you go. Well, if you're new to the podcast, I'm James Montemagno. With me, as always, my partner in crime, and our crime being recording a podcast. So I guess it's not really crime. It's free. Mr. Frank Krueger over there in an island.
Hi, everyone. Let's try not to make this a crime. That sounds like a good goal. Let's go for that.
But it is episode 370. If you're new to the podcast in the last 10 episodes, then you are in for a treat because every 10 episodes, we like to just put a whole bunch of different topics together and do little lightning topics. We try to cover 6, maybe 7, maybe 5 really quick, under 5 minutes, some just 1 minute on this one, but we usually do 6 and 5 minutes. So it's a half an hour, something like that. We got a bunch. So let's just get into it. You ready, Frank?
Ooh, I love it. I love it when we just get into it. Yes, let's go. What do you got, James?
All right. Well, we have a bunch of random topics, but you had an actual topic, which was LK-99, which I believe is a Star Wars bounty hunter. Is that correct? LK-99?
That'd be good to know. That'd be bad SEO for them if that's what they chose the name of this awesome new material that maybe or may not be awesome. We don't know. We're waiting for science to happen, but we're all very excited about it. If you haven't heard about LK-99, it is a room temperature, normal atmospheric pressure, stable superconductor, James. This will change everything. If it's true. The problem is there was just a non-reproducible room temperature superconductor found in 2022 that was found to be non-reproducible. So we're all a little bit hesitant about someone finding a new room temperature atmospherically stable superconductor. But so far, some Chinese labs have been able to manufacture it. They haven't been able to fully test it, but it came out black and rocky looking, like it's supposed to come out black and rocky looking.
I see the photos.
What comes to your mind when you think superconductor, and why is this so?
Well, the thing is, it's all kind of black and rocky, which to me doesn't signify what I normally am thinking about when I think of superconductors, because I think of supercomputers, like the super what are those ones that like can split zeros and ones, quantum computing computers.
Oh, yeah.
I know that there was just a demo I was listening to Tech Me and Ride Home where like there's someone that now they have a quantum computer they can actually move and like shake, and it still will do stuff, which is very impressive because the whole idea was that it to be stable. So is this superconductor have to do with super quantum computers?
So, interestingly enough, the people who discovered this material were working on quantum computers. But I would say they are completely unrelated, aside from superconductors will improve everything, including quantum computers. So they would be a very valuable part of a quantum computer. But they're pretty orthogonal to each other because superconductors can help us everywhere in the world. So a superconductor provides us zero resistivity in a wire. Normally, when we create a metal wire, the longer we make it, the more resistance it has. What does resistance do? Well, it expels energy as heat, which is wasted. It's just released into the atmosphere, and we lose a lot of energy just in transmitting power. We lose a lot of energy in all sorts of things, wherever there's a resistance where we don't want it to be, like in an electric motor. Electric motors are made of wires wound up, and they're very good conductors. They're copper, but they are complete trash compared to what a superconductor could possibly be. So we lose, if you've ever used a motor, you'll know that it gets hot, and that hot is wasted energy, garbage. So it's bad. bad for the environment, bad for everything, bad for engineers' little hearts. And so if we could make wires out of superconductors, which we actually can do, then you get this zero resistance and you're able to create magnetic fields much more efficiently. You can do even crazier things, James. You can trap a current permanently inside of an object. So you like create a hunk of metal and you can put a current in it that constantly flows, even though you never touch it ever again. And that's actually how MRIs work. MRIs use superconductors. You trap a little bit of current in there and you create a ridiculous magnetic field and you scan people's brains. And so we use superconductors all the time. They're incredibly useful. The problem with them is that they need to be cryogenically frozen and pressurized. So no bueno, no good. Pressurized or depressurized, one or the other. So the cool thing is if this material actually turns out to be good, we have a wonderful new material to start building things out of to get great efficiencies.
Now, if LK-99 is a success, can we then carbon freeze people like Han Solo in Star Wars with this new superconductor temperature? If we freeze it from room temperature, would it be able to keep my body frozen?
Not sure anyone's looking for that application, so I'm going to say no, James. No, it cannot. The joke is you would usually do the opposite. You would like freeze the material to turn it into a superconductor. So you would actually go the other opposite process. I'm pretty sure we could. Maybe not carbon. Like, I don't know if you want to be in a block of carbon. It's not going to be cold. Carbon can be solid at room temperature. Oh, yeah, I guess Han Solo was kind of room temperature, wasn't he? But yeah. I would want to be frozen in, like, oxygen, because that's hard, and then be really difficult. So let's go for that. Freeze Frank and oxygen.
Well, here's an interesting part. I went crabbing recently. Ever gone crabbing? No?
We're going to miss our 5-minute mark here, but tell me about your crabs.
Okay, so we went crabbing on the coast, and here's the cool thing about crabs is you can just put crabs, like they're very active because they're crabs, but you can put crabs just like on ice. You get a little cooler, you put ice in it, right, or ice pack, and then you put a little paper towel down on top of it, right, because you're not putting the crabs on the ice, you're putting it on top of it, and then their bodies go into a dormant state.
Right.
Wild.
Yeah. Well, I guess they're like reptiles, right? We maintain our body heat. They don't. One of those kind of animal jigs.
Like when lizards fall out of the sky in Florida because it gets too cold. Yes. They fall out of the trees. Wow. Anyways, all right.
I haven't had too many fall on me.
Yep. Not yet. All right. Here we go. Quick one here. Is there anything that Elon Musk can do to save X?
Save X? I don't know. X doesn't need saving. I don't know, man. Why do people rebrand things? You take 20 years to build a brand and then you just throw the brand out the window. So if you haven't caught the news, you probably have, because I think most of us are on Twitter still. X still. You've learned that we don't call it Twitter anymore. We call it X. I wanted to bring this up. Man,
and X.com.
Well, I guess X.com, yeah.
Redirects, 301 redirect. So yeah, I'm just saying.
301, all right. Is that move temporary or move permanent? Move temporary.
301's permanent, 302's temporary.
302 is temporary. Okay, permanent.
I didn't look. I didn't see what the routes JSON file was. I'm assuming it's a 301.
So it seems that Elon wants to compete with the Facebook Metas and the Googles of the world. So it's just going to become a general purpose internet company now. I don't like the name. I don't like change. So far, I haven't seen anyone rage quitting over it. Like the last time something changed on x/twitter.com. So far, it looks like most of the communities have been preserved. Everyone who is going to hop over onto Tutor World has tooted over there. So I guess it hasn't made a difference, but boy, is every journalist going to have to write a correction to every article, or the link's going to work forever? The links better work forever. And so why even bother rebrand, James? You're the PM. Why rebrand?
Well, he's going for he wants a like a WeChat which is like a all-in-one super app. Basically, that was like
Yeah.
his goal. Has always been his goal. I don't know if that's what it is, but the thing still works, and still Twitter. It's still the same. I think it is some analytics, and things were pretty much the same. So it's, like
Okay.
you said, like I do think some people have jumped. I don't think
Mhm.
Threads is the new thing yet. It's missing a lot of features and just different type of thing. But this is where I'm at right now until I just delete it or something like that. But it's fine, until it's not fine. It's fine until it's not fine. And right now it's still fine. It's, to me, yeah, it's just silly, but it's a little ridiculous. But what are you going to do? It's not what I would
I think
do.
I think we've all just been through so much in the last few years that this is just more like roll your eyes than even get upset about it. I saw a
Yeah.
lot of jokes going around, but I couldn't even get into the jokes because I'm just rolling my eyes so far back in my head I couldn't even read the jokes. So it's
Yeah.
just it reminds me mostly of when Dropbox sent out all those pastel icons, and they're like, "Look, we're a pastel company now," and they semi-clash. Isn't that modern and cool? And you're like, "No, they're ugly." And then they're like, "Oh, sorry." It feels like that. So I'll be curious to see, I'll be curious to see how journalists reference it in um, articles. Are they going to just
Yeah.
start calling it X, or is it Twitter? People started calling stupid Facebook Meta way faster than I ever thought. I still call it Facebook. I can't believe people were able to mentally shift and start calling it Meta.
But
I
not
don't know.
always. I watch a lot of CNBC, too much CNBC for my goodwill. And even the, people that are buying Meta, the company, still call it Facebook, right? Facebook's just a product
Okay.
of it. Which makes a lot of sense. I understand that. I understand that because Facebook is the product. They have multiple products. Meta is the company. This was the Xamarin problem. Xamarin was the company with a product named Xamarin, which is also great until you have more than one product that does more than that, which is no problem at all, but it can be. All right, here we go. Next question. Talking about Xamarin, talking about the Mac, because you're on a Mac and you're using Twitter X. We had a comment on YouTube from Kibberkley. And I'm just going to summarize this. Is a MacCatalyst app really a Mac app? Isn't it just an iOS app running on the Mac? And isn't that cheating? I need to develop a real Mac app. We have a Mac expert, Frank Kruger. I ship a
Okay.
Mac app as well, but is it really a Mac app, or is it just the child's
Yeah.
version?
Ouch. Ouch. It hurts. I suppose I ask myself this question often also, but I've never been happy with my own response because, in the end, what is a Mac app? If you're talking about what is rendering the buttons and the text boxes, and does it behave with the keyboard, and does it do let's start there. So levels of Mac app. Does the text box and buttons work correctly? Yes, those are all correct. And in fact, there's multiple scaling modes you can put it in. Like by default, it kind of is a bit of a scaled iOS app. But if you put a little bit of flag in when you're compiling, then it actually doesn't do the scaling trick anymore. Buttons by default have correct font size, labels have the correct font size instead of being scaled versions of iOS. So it's funny, even within the SDK itself, you have a little bit of control of how Mackie to get. You can control the Mackiness level. Now, I will say one side of a MacCatalyst app that I don't like, which does make it feel a little less native. And by the way, AppKit's wonderful. That's what we mean by a Mac app. But AppKit is not all of Mac. So one thing I miss when writing MacCatalyst apps is all the libraries have to be recompiled for MacCatalyst. And so there are Mac libraries that are missing from MacCatalyst. And I always find that annoying. So I would say at the UI level, it's a Mac app. No, it's not using AppKit, but Mac is rendering it. It's obeying the event, the responder chain in the same way a Mac app would, except that it's written using a different UI, a different user interface and library. This is very different from saying getting WinForms to run on a Mac, where the event system is very different from how the Mac event system works. At least it's using that thing. So I'd say the only non-native part feeling to me is Mostly not being able to use Mac apps and not being able to embed AppKit stuff into it. So you can't become like an NS menu item and things like that. So yes, it's a Mac app. No, it's not perfect.
Yeah. I think, there's definitely different trade-offs that you have in any type of, in this instance, cross-platform technology. And but for me, it really depends on the type of app that you're building. We still get this question all the time, even on this podcast, of what should I use to build an app? Do I use WinForms? Do I do WPF? Do I do the new stuff? Do I do Mac? Do I do MacCatalyst? Do I do Maui? Do I do Avalon? I don't know, there's so many. What are you building? In general. So like, do you need those libraries? Do you need things that are only in AppKit, like XYZ? Then you can go down that route, right? That's up to you at that point. So things to always consider and think about.
Yeah, and there's not a great answer. I like what you said. It's really about your app. If your app does Mackie things, you probably want to write an AppKit app. If your app is just supposed to look good and run good on a Mac, MacCatalyst is fine.
Yeah, and a lot of Apple apps are MacCatalyst apps.
So many of them at this point.
Yeah, a lot of them. More and more every time I open, I'm like, yeah, I not that I like, oh, I know what it is, but it's like, I know that this app wouldn't exist if it wasn't a MacCatalyst app. But also, like, a lot of the apps make a lot of sense to be MacCatalyst apps and the reason it's because it looks so familiar if I'm on iPhone. In fact, there's almost a benefit there in a weird way that it's like, it feels familiar because I'm going between my Mac and my iOS device quite often. So it should feel relatively similar.
Don't be an iPad hater. I gotta break it to you. The iOS App Store, you make more money on that than you make on the Mac Store. So you write a MacCatalyst app, you're an iPad app. Sell it on the iOS Store too, because there's a lot of iPad users out there.
There you go. Talking about .NET MAUI and building Mac applications, we got a question here from another YouTube listener. It says, do we recommend third-party controls when we're building MAUI applications, even hybrid applications like Mudblazer or something else? And that's a great question because this week is sponsored by our good friends over at Syncfusion. I swear, I didn't just find that question. It just happened to be in there. It's a good question. Do we recommend it? We endorse it, stamp, and improve it because we use all sorts of amazing libraries from the community or from our sponsor, Syncfusion. I use Syncfusion on my applications that I build and ship because I don't want to build every single user control that I need. Do I need charts and graphs and PDF pickers and photo editors and all this other stuff? I could build it. I could find a library maybe, or I don't want to, right? I just want, give me everything in the box. And that's what Syncfusion does. No matter what you're building. Are you building a Blazor app, a MAUI app, a Blazor hybrid app for .NET MAUI with Blazor? Are you building ASP.NET Core? Are you building a Flutter app, a UWP application? You still got Xamarin Forms apps? What are you building? They got you covered. They got thousands of beautiful controls across all these different platforms, and they have great PDF processors, Excel, Word processors, all these amazing things. Check out our good friends over at Syncfusion at syncfusion.com/merge conflict. Check them out today. You can get a free trial over there. And they got a bunch of great licenses for community license, a bunch of other stuff. Give them a look. I use them personally. I've been using Syncfusion for over 20 years since my very first job out of college at Canon. Been around, just saying, tried, trusted, and true. Syncfusion, syncfusion.com/merge conflict. Thanks for Syncfusion Pod. All right, next question. What is this cryptic message on Frank's piano? Now, here's the funny part. Is you all see very crystal clear image quality because we're recording on Zencastr, and I see the Starlink quality from Frank's feed, which is sometimes good, sometimes not good. And y'all, though,
look like
it
Mario?
Records, right now you look good. You look good. A little pixelated. You kind of look like, when Netflix is sort of buffering in, it starts at that 480p. That's what you're at right now. You're at a very low. There's lots of blips and bloops around you, like a halo of squares around you. Okay, it's great. But Frank's in there somewhere. But y'all get the real feed because it records locally in the browser. Now, There's a lot of things behind you. There's like a charting graph. Maybe it's seismic activity of some sort up top.
No. But I like your guesses, so please continue.
Maybe it is.
Explain that one.
What's that?
This is perhaps my favorite poster on the entire planet, so I can't help but to explain it very quickly. The vertical axis is time. The horizontal axis is location on Earth, and it's a chart of civilizations. So it goes back
Oh.
to 3500 BC all the way up to the modern day. And you can see the expanse of civilizations and the time periods that they were most prominent. Let's go with. It's
All
my
right,
favorite
very
poster
cool.
on the whole planet.
Oh, I like that. Okay, that's very different than what I thought it was going to be. But that does make a lot of sense. But I can also there's like little things on it, so that maybe there's like starships or something like that. Okay, now there is a sheet of music open. I'm assuming it's Beethoven's 45th.
Not Beethoven. I'm totally blanking. Prelude in E minor. Everyone.
Oh,
Chopin, maybe. I
Chopin.
I feel stupid. I'm Prelude in E minor. Every piano player knows what I'm talking about.
Now we have we also on this desk, I'm describing because people are listening to the audio
This is good
podcast.
radio, right? We're doing well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
Okay.
piano, an old timey piano that was purchased with the house, obviously, just sitting there for decades. And Frank has decorated it. So he's got this behind him, and there's a sheet of music. There is a Doctor Who telephone booth. I think it's called a Tudorite.
Police box, sir. Police box.
Oh, it's not it. Okay, it's a London police box. No, it is Doctor Who.
Yeah, it's definitely Doctor Who. Yes, you got that right. And
it's
I
not
don't
Bill and Ted's
honestly know the
Excellent Adventure.
history. No, I don't have that much class.
Okay.
We're Doctor Who over here.
I've never watched Doctor Who. Never got into Doctor Who.
Oh, man.
Okay, so that's my mistake. Y'all can make fun of me on X. So this is a police box.
Yeah.
It has a name, isn't it? Like
the TARDIS.
Telluride? TARDIS. TARDIS, thank you.
And which stands for time and relative dimension in space.
Yeah. And then in between TARDIS and the sheet of music is a sheet of paper that to me looks like pixels and I cannot read it. So that I assume is what our friend is asking about, Frank.
I'm very old, but I guess I'm still in college because I guess I still have just nice little phrases that I like around the house. It's a line from the book The Little Prince. Do you know The Little Prince?
Mm-hmm,
and the little prince had a little rose, and one day he came upon a planet that had a bunch of roses, and then all of a sudden he's like, oh, my rose isn't so special anymore. And then the fox said to the little kid, it's the time that we put into the rose that makes the rose valuable. And so it's just that saying, but in French. It's the time we put into the rose that makes the rose so valuable, treasured, whatever you want to say. Wow. Just a reminder that the effort is important too.
I like that. Very nice. Wow.
In French, just so I have to stare at it a little.
Français, oui. Yes. My 4 years of French, I probably have no idea what it means. So perfect.
You could read it. It's simple. It's a children's book. So I like to read it in French only because it's simple. The words are small.
Nice. I like that. All right.
So,
what do we?
Okay, all decoded. Great. Excellent.
All decoded. Boom. Next up, a little update here. This is a nice topic. So, do you know those people that walk while they work because they have a treadmill under their desk?
Oh boy, I haven't seen them in a long time, but yeah. It's healthy, I suppose. Do people keep it up for years?
It's a thing people could do. Yes. So Heather wanted one, and she wanted to give it a try. So we went on the Craigslist. We're not going to buy a new one. So we went on the Craigslist, found one, which means
never ever buy a new treadmill. People buy them and sell them a month later.
You don't even need to buy a new Peloton. You can just buy a used one. They're like $400 now. You just get whatever. Yeah, you don't need to buy new fitness equipment. Just buy it used. So we went on the Craigslist, and there was a person selling it. And because if it's an under the desk treadmill, they either got another job where they have to go under the work, or they're like, I bought this because I told him I'm going to walk during work, and then definitely did not. I'm pretty sure it was that.
I like to give it a go. It becomes a clothes rack. How long until it becomes a clothes rack?
Correct. How long? That is a great question. So right now, at least, where we are at is Heather tried to give it a go, but the main problem is that it really didn't fit under her desk. Her desk has like a bar on the bottom. It's a sit-stand desk. Yeah. It just didn't go under enough, and her desk isn't wide enough where it allowed her to have her it would have to be permanent
Yeah.
placement. You know what I mean?
Let me ask real quick because I'm a big dummy. The handlebars are a big safety thing on a treadmill. Do you keep the handlebars when you turn it into a desk, or do you put your desk over the handlebars?
Oh, great question. So the cool thing with these desks is that the handlebar can come up or it can go down, and they give you a remote. So you can control it with the remote directly with it. So when I have it right now, it's now under my desk and the handlebar is down. So, and the handlebar is my desk.
Okay. Funny.
Right.
Yep.
Kind of makes sense. So that's kind of cool. So anyways, I am 2 days in and I've walked 1 hour a day.
Excellent.
So far. The biggest problem I have is that while my desk is large, you know, my monitor doesn't swivel left and right. So I have to move the entire thing, like the base of it. I have to like physically alter and like put the stuff over there. Definitely when I'm in meetings, I am not on it because that's impossible. But if I have like an hour's worth of time, I do it. But I make so many typos when I'm typing and doing this. So it's very fascinating. But if I have a long, Copilot. I need Copilot. But if you have like a long meeting, let's say like an all hands or a AMA or something, like that's going to be great for you. So it was $150, pretty good deal. It's working good so far. Under desk treadmill, can't go wrong.
Let me ask. So, what do you do for a chair when you want to sit down? Then,
well, my desk is so large that I'm sitting in my chair, and on the right hand side of me is the treadmill.
Roger, Roger. Very good. So get a nice long desk.
The biggest desk I have, it's like 5 feet or something like that. It's huge.
And then swiveling the monitor, couldn't you put an arm up on the wall? I'm not sure if you're facing a wall, but monitors on arms are very cool, and you should get into that.
So I had that with my dual monitors, and then I upgraded to this ultra super wide, and it's very heavy, and I have to get a really crazy arm to do it. But yes, ideally it would swivel. And most monitors also have, like expensive ones, have the swivel left and right, even in the built stand. This one doesn't for a reason, and I don't know why. I'm assuming because of the weight of the device and the length of it left and right, but that is on me. And I would say even this, I'm still not even sure I really like an ultra wide monitor, but it happens to be here. And I do face a window. So in front of me is a window directly in front of me. So it's not going to work yeah, it's very heavy. But the ultra wide monitor, like I love it, but then also hate it at the same time.
You know, that's funny. I saw someone on Twitter basically posting the same thing. They spent all this money on like the widest of wide monitors possible. And I think they used it for an entire day and they're like, nope, shipping it back.
Yeah,
it's funny. I feel like I could use a little wider, but I know what you mean. I don't need a lot wider. I need medium wide. So maybe we'll start making some medium wide monitors.
Yeah. And Heather has a smaller widescreen one, but then I don't know. It just makes sharing your desktop in meetings hard because of resolution, changing stuff.
That's a funny one. I never even thought of that. You got this weird letterboxed display for everyone.
Yeah, so you got to actually then you got to put this monitor 1920 by 1080. Then you have like all this black space on the left and right, and you're just like, oh, it's kind of like terrible. What do I do? I don't know.
Have you tried any? Well, now that you have a treadmill, though, have you tried doing any of the Peloton things like walking around in a forest with your ultra wide monitor?
I walk around inside of Outlook, and that's a forest of emails, so it's great.
Forest of email. Well, there's the Vision OS app I need to write. Your emails are a forest. Walk through the dark, scary forest of email.
You pluck the emails from the trees.
Oh, that's a rotten tree of spam. Okay.
I like that. All right, there's that. Okay, here we go. Final question of the pod. Written by users. When will this podcast end?
Never, James. When one of us meets our sad demise / retires to Costa Rica, I don't know. I feel like you're going to be the first one to go off grid. Like I'm like, where'd James go? And James will just be gone. So I think the podcast will end when James disappears off grid. Maybe there's some other criteria we could come up with though.
Yeah, we started this podcast many, many years ago. We're 370 podcasts in. That's a lot of podcasts. I don't expect anyone to listen to all of them, but if you did, you're amazing. And if you're a Patreon subscriber, that means you've listened to even more because we have a bonus Patreon
That's right.
video and audio every nearly every single week. And this week we talk about dehumidifiers. So if that is your fancy, then boom, excitement. We started this podcast for many reasons. Frank and I have been friends for a long time, predating my Xamarin days. And we lived very close to each other, but we never really hung out. And we did hang out when we started a user group together. And we said, this is great, but this is like once a month. We should try to either, one, hang out more, but we live in Seattle, so that's not going to happen. Or B, give an activity where we're forced to talk every single week. And that became this podcast. And many of the other podcasts that I've done throughout the years have been to catch up with friends. So we literally do use this podcast to talk about stuff. Like we talk about stuff ahead of time, sometimes more, sometimes less. We have life stuff that's going on. It's good. And this has been the longest lasting of all my podcasts that I've ever done. And it's because there's a lot of exciting stuff in the world of tech that we're both interested in as mobile developers. But also, Frank and I think we just have interesting lives. We're just good friends. We like to talk to each other, and that's fun. And as you can see, though, it's not like we're dedicated our time and our lives to it. Like, yeah, I edit it and I do it on YouTube, blah, blah. But there's a lot of people that are doing whole plans around it and this, and put I only got so much time and effort, right? The most important part is me talking and chatting with Frank and learning new stuff. Like I do this podcast half the night to learn new stuff from Frank. I think maybe, Frank on occasion learns stuff from me on occasion.
Brands, mostly brands. You teach me brands.
Marketing tips and tricks, things like that. But I think you're right. Like for me, it's been fascinating because the things that we kind of talk about now are a little bit different, only because like my job has dramatically changed since 3 years ago when I became a manager. 2 years ago when 2 years ago, 3 years ago when I became a manager. Even though I'm still in the space, I do a lot of different things now, which means we can talk about different things. But it doesn't mean I'm always doing the same stuff that Frank's doing, which is kind of good to some aspect. So will it ever end? I don't know. When I retire, maybe you retire first.
I think we've done well keeping it low key because a lot of podcasts do have a lot of guests, and that's a lot of scheduling and it's a lot of arrangement. It's a lot of effort. It's enough effort to just talk to each other once a week, just arranging that kind of thing. But I think we've done a good job in keeping it low key enough that we can keep on doing this for quite a while because we're both tech nerds. We're always going to want to talk about tech nerd stuff, and we enjoy the community and everyone chit-chatting with us in the comments and on the tweeters and all that stuff, on the tutors. And so I think we will. We're going to keep this puppy going for a while, and then we'll see. We'll see. Talk to us in 20 years. No.
No, it's definitely hard. We look at the metrics. So behind the scenes, we were talking about the metrics of how the podcast does, what our numbers look like. And, I think definitely like the average show in the beginning of time, like when we were at like peak podcast downloads, we're getting like sometimes 5,500 downloads per episode in the first month, 90 days or so. And, I think with COVID that went down, as listeners go down, there's other things, you're going to lose listeners, go up listeners. And even when I listen to podcasts, I ebb and flow. And sometimes you auto download stuff for a while and you don't. And if you're a new listener, that means it's also kind of scary, like 370 episodes. Do I tune into this episode? Do I start at 1? What do I do? So the overarching like net podcast downloads that are like the top 20, top 30 are like 10 to 12,000 downloads, which is pretty great. Like these are good numbers for a podcast. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you all.
Right now we're at about like 3,500. So we've definitely gone down quite a bit, 25, 30%. Tell your friends about the podcast if you want us to keep going. But we have been posting on YouTube and we get 1,000 to 3,000 views there. Now, are those people listening to the whole thing? I don't know. Are you listening to this whole thing? How many people are listening right now? 1? I don't know. But that has us thinking, like as long as people are listening and enjoying and writing into the show, we love feedback. If you're on YouTube, you can leave a comment. You can go to mergeconflict.fm. You can hit us up on X or Twitter or anywhere we're at. And we like that stuff. So I think as long as we enjoy doing it, and as long as people are listening, then we'll keep doing it.
Sounds like a deal, man. I'm in.
All right. Well, I think it's going to do it for this week's Merge Conflict. So until next week, when we make our epic return, I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.